again on the Walk a Mile in My Shoes podcast. Your host for today, Nathaniel James. I have a very, very, very special guest with me today who goes by the name of
Marvin Herbert.
Marvin Herbert.
Herbert.
General in this thing, we got Marvin, man. Thank you for coming down, bro. Really, really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Okay, then. So you've been making a storm online on YouTube. Just in general, you know, telling your story, telling your life experiences, and letting people know about what it was like being an ex-gangster and what it's like now that you're a reformed character, and you know you've been helping a lot of people. Yeah. You say you're reformed.
I'm laughing when people say, "Oh, you're an ex-gangster."
Yeah.
It's not because although I'm reformed, so to speak, I never really saw myself as a gangster.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I think growing up, it was more of a money getter.
Okay.
Rather than gangster. Do you know what I mean? Gangster's a label all the youngsters point it now, but I was just a good money getter.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
So you'd like to be... Is that how you would like people when people speak about
No, everyone's got their terminologies nowadays, but I was never a gangster. Do you know what I mean? I was just a good money getter. Do you know what I'm saying? So people, everyone, the gangster, the OG, all the chat they chat about that is just probably relevant to the tongue of the youngsters nowadays, isn't it? But it just makes me laugh when people say gangster, because me, gangsters like Al Capone. Like John Gotti. I wasn't that level. I was just a normal kid from the flats, just trying to make a pathway to success.
Okay, pathway to success.
That's what I was trying to create.
I like that analogy. So obviously, you've done a lot of videos on YouTube speaking about your past and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So obviously, I don't really want to delve into a lot of your past today. So I really want to highlight a lot of the great work that you've done with the young people and people that you just come across. You have this way of just automatically just becoming people's mentors. Do you know what I mean? You kind of see through what people want people to see, and you see people for who they are, who they really, really are. If that makes sense?
To a certain degree.
Okay, I'd say on my point of view, yeah?
From your perspective.
From my perspective, yeah? I'd say, as you've been mentoring me, you've made me look within and look at certain, I wouldn't say faults, but certain things that I do that maybe I could...
Flaws we all have.
The flaws that we all have, but I believe that you sniff them out like that. Like even the first time that I met you and we had like a conversation, I went back and I sat on it for a good couple of days, and it made me look at myself and what I do and how I react to certain things that was going on in my life. Do you know what I mean? And then when we had a conversation the other day, and you were saying, "Look, mate, sometimes you're a bit long-winded. Just get to the point and move forward." Do you know what I mean? But no one's ever told me them kind of things before, and
it's just because you're such a lovable character.
Yeah.
People don't like upsetting anybody anyway, so they just allow people to talk. Whereas, I don't know, man. I'm more of an action person. So I like to be told what needs to be done, what I can do, or what people can do or contribute. Do you know what I'm saying? So all the peripheral information, or all the outside information, or the build-up information, to me, is not sort of important to me. I'm an action person. So, like for argument's sake, you've got an IT guy, yeah, and then you've got a physical guy, and then you've got an ideas guy. Like they're all three different people working for the same company, doing three different things, right? So I don't sort of try to think outside my box. I know I'm an action person, so I know what I'm capable of doing. So now I need to build the right teams behind me and around me so I can achieve my goal.
Okay.
And that's what I'm sort of doing now rather than what I used to do, you know.
Okay.
So it's just surround myself with all the wrong people, with the wrong purpose, with the wrong products. Now I surround myself with the right people, with the right purpose and the right product. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So let's just take it back to, you was telling me like a story about when you took somebody to the gym. So they wasn't healthy eating or anything, and you took them to the gym, and you helped them with.
There's so many people that I do that with, though.
But it's the one that I think he's kind of part of your team now. He's got a business now. he's got a business within your team.
No, that was my son's friend.
Yeah, your son's friend. So would you like to just elaborate on that story? Because I think that's quite a good story for people to hear. How you kind of help somebody, and now they're really successful and they're part of your team.
That's a double-edged story, though. Really, to be fair, because that was a penultimate turning point in my life. So although it's a good story for your platform, it's also it was a very defining moment in my life. So what happened? This young kid, young G man, owed me a bit of money. I've obviously, I don't really want to go into detail, but he owed me money. He didn't know he owed me money because of all the encrypted devices that they used to use in the drug game. So basically, I used to give them drugs to sell, and his debt went a bit too high to the point where I wanted to get him hurt. And then I told my youngsters who was going to take care of the business, the dirt, to go and deal with him. And then I asked them to make sure they find out who it is prior, because I know quite a few older people. So I don't want to be in the middle of someone's son, nephew, niece, or whatever, getting hurt. And then I found out it was one of my son's best mates. And it was a sort of turning point in my life. I just sort of said, well, wow, like, I'm responsible for this and that and this and that, and it's because of me, this and that's happening. And if I never got angry, this wouldn't have happened. If I never lost any money, that wouldn't happen. What am I actually doing in my life? What am I actually doing with my youngsters? I'm supposed to be helping my youngsters. And I just sort of called him up. I said, look, you need to come see me, come see me. And I said, look, that bit of money you owe is me you owe. So I'm going to give you an opportunity today. And I think you should take it. So he said, what's that? I said, well, I think you should come off the road. I said, like, if you come off the road today and stop shotting, I'll wipe my debt. Right? I said, or I'll pass the debt on to somebody else, but they won't be as forthcoming as me or as lenient as me. They'll want the money. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they'll buy the debt. And he was like, what am I going to do? I said, well, I don't know what you're going to do. I said, but if you come to the gym with me, I said, within time, things will develop. And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, come to the gym and see. So I went to the gym, started training. He was a little bit out of shape at first. And what I'll do, I'll send you the pictures of him out of shape. And then him in shape. So I met him, he was out of shape. He had a bit of a derby. He was overweight. And we just went to the gym. And then we went to the gym for, I think it was about 4 or 5 months. And after the full 5th month, he's come in, he's got a job. So I was like, see, I told you. He was like, well, I can't believe it. And then things escalated, and then he got bored of the job. And I said, don't worry, stick at it. Something else will happen. Just keep coming to the gym. So he kept coming to the gym. And then I can't remember the exact opportunity, but he came to me one day, he said, look, I was thinking about starting up my own music thing. So I said, okay, that's good. To do what? So I said, my pal's coming out of jail, this, and that. I've got this artist, I've got that artist, I've got this artist. So I'm going to set this up. So I said, all right, sweet. I said, I'll give you all the support I can in the world. Basically, started up, it was called Buzzworld. He's a co-owner of Buzzworld. Ambush's manager and a few other artists. I don't know all the other artists' names, but they're all releasing their music in the next few months. So they're releasing an album and they're all going to feature on it, so that's all getting done now. So not only did we take one kid off the street through my transition, we got him involved in something, because now he's like the PT for their whole group.
He's keeping everybody in shape.
Everybody's got to go gym,
Love that.
Do you know what I mean? And every now and then I'll get a phone call saying, Marvin, can you come gym with us? So I'll go gym with the whole crew and then put them all through circuits and then keep them, it's like booster courses sort of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and
you helped with the diet as well? Is that
well, the diet always comes in part of the training anyway, because what I say to people is it don't make sense training unless you're eating the right diet, because you're not going to grow and you're going to have injuries. So unless you're on a protein and alkaline diet, it ain't really work. So I just focus on getting them eating the right foods, drinking the right amount of liquids, and doing the right amount of exercises, And it's pretty that simple. It's not complicated, So alkaline diet is what I promote. With if you want to eat fish or chicken occasionally, feel free. I'm not one to tell people what not to eat. I just advise them on what they'd benefit better with.
Okay.
You know, so I'm an advocate on a plant-based diet. I advocate plant-based diets as I believe you benefit from them physiologically and physically the best out of any of the other diets. I do occasionally eat fish and chicken.
Okay.
And I've ate a bit of lamb and a bit of oxtail over the last few years, but it's not part of my balanced diet, red meat, you know, but I will eat it occasionally. You know, like this summer. I'll give you an example. I turned up in Birmingham last time I was here speaking to you.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, I don't even know the name of his bloody restaurant I was promoting now, Young Mango, Kenny. I rang him up, said if I can get any food around here and have some oxtail. Yeah, so I've had oxtail about a month ago. And apart from that, it's just healthy living, alkaline diet, and the right amount of liquids.
So let's take it back to, because I know you've done a lot of mentoring through boxing. Where did that start with the mentoring with boxing? Was that in with
Marbella?
Marbella.
Yeah, that all started after I got shot. Through my convalescence, getting better. I started going to my mate's gym, Marbella Fight Club, with young Adam Hart. Training in there, and then basically it was a Muay Thai gym. So then after I got shot, I sort of gone back to the gym, said, Kev, let me, can I come to the gym and use it between 12 and 4 when you're shut siesta? So he said, yeah. So then that was it. I went to the gym from 12 till 4. And then I used to get loads of people driving me all around the place because I couldn't walk and I needed someone to help me in and out of the car. So the young people that I had, the young men that I had driving me about or helping me, they just come to the gym with me. So then I got them into the gym. One of them was 130 kilo. I got him down to 67 kilos and he became an Irish national champion.
Wow.
Young Sean Cray.
Yo, big up yourself, man.
You know, he's sick. He got, and we got young Charlie McDonald. He was 130 odd kilos as well. Got him down to, I think it might have been lighter than, it might have been 63 or 64. And he became another national champion. He's just about to turn pro now.
Oh, congrats.
You know, and then basically it was just, everyone I went to the gym with, I just got them training with me and then they've just gone on and excelled. So it's like,
you like planted the little seeds in there and helped them on the journey. And
well, that's what I also. I just try to get people as healthy as they can be. It's not about competing with me. It's about them being the best version of them they can be. So I just sort of promote that work ethic in everybody, you know, rather than try to be like that guy and that guy. Just be the best you can be.
That you can be.
And they usually fall into that and sort of engage really well, you know, because they do. They grow and develop really well, so it's good. It's good.
So would you say that, was that the first time that you started mentoring, or would you say that you've always kind of been a mentor?
Done it forever, really. When I was younger, it was all for the wrong reasons, you know, and it's just a mindset. I've got a way of communicating with people, engaging with people, and manipulating people. You know, I used to do it for all the wrong reasons, and now I do it for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
That's the long and short of it, really.
Because I watched your YouTube, The Whole Truth and Nothing But the Truth, with the young Litty Likes and his producer.
Oh yeah, young Likes.
Yeah, that I seen the other day. And one thing that really struck with me, Marvin, is that you was really not pushing, but really advising them to go to uni and kind of take that pathway. Do you know what I mean? And I'm guessing that when you was younger, did you have that kind of mentor, that somebody that was nah? So is that why you're that way with the young people and that now? Are you trying?
No, I'm that way because I actually understand what a human being needs to survive in society. Okay, and the best way you can equip yourself to survive in this society is by going to university. Like, people say it's a waste of time, but I do not believe it's a waste of time. And all the people that say it's a waste of time, all the people that wasn't there.
Yeah. I agree.
Right, so I'd like if you get a poll. How many people have been at university, that have been out of university, and now they're adults with children, regret going to university? Do you know what I mean? There won't be none, I don't believe. Do you know what I mean? Because they'll all have comparisons for all the people that never went to university behind them. Do you know what I mean? And there won't be that many in front of them. There might be 1% or 2% in front of them, but I very much doubt that also.
Yeah, because I feel like it's one thing having a vision and a plan, but then there's another thing executing it. Do you know what I mean? And by going to uni and learning so much more about, especially if they want to be musicians, they need to understand there's a lot of things behind a musician that makes a musician successful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it ain't just about getting in the booth.
Yeah, it ain't just about writing bars and getting in the booth.
But that's what they don't get.
Yeah,
they don't get anything behind the artist development, how he develops into a financial revenue stream, how he develops into a role model, how he develops into a success. There's 3 different parts of being a pop artist, but each individual part or each individual attribute takes a lifetime of work to achieve greatness, you know, and that's what they don't get. They think they're going to make a couple of songs, and next thing, the thing will be famous. They don't realise how much hard work goes into being famous. Because it ain't about being famous, it's about maintaining that level. And it's all right having a one-hit wonder, it's about maintaining that forever then.
And formulating the right team around you that can help excel you to the next level.
Yeah.
And I feel like from just watching that conversation, I feel like they was taking in a lot of what you were saying. And the thing is, you have people who you can be like, well, look how they've built it. Do you know what I mean? Like Buzzworld, like you're saying, they built that from the ground up.
Right, if you watch the podcast or the broadcast from the beginning, the beginning opening statement was, I ain't going to university.
Yeah.
I'm not going to university. It's not me. No, it's not me. The end of the podcast is like, do you know what? I'm going to seriously look into this going to university. Yeah,
because he was like, I don't get, like, I'm not, I feel like he was thinking he's not academically strong. School ain't for me. I don't even like school, so how am I going to like uni? No. He was coming from that point, wasn't it?
And just everyone thinks they don't need something they haven't had. But you don't know nothing until you're taught.
Yeah.
So you don't know what you don't know because you don't know. So it makes sense educating yourself to know a little bit more than most. So when you grow, you have a little bit more of a head start.
Yeah.
That's just my men's mindset behind it. Like, I'm learning stuff now at 50 years of age, what people are learning in school. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're learning how to deal with what I'm dealing with now in school. Do you know what I mean? And it's just money management, household management, looking after your family, being a sustainable parent, a sustainable human being is not easy. And unless you learn how to manage your money, how to bank your money, how to market your money, and how to use your money, then you're never going to have any money. And that's why I'm an advocate on university, and working class environments need to push their kids further and harder towards education, rather than working for a trade or, just getting a job. Like, we're so focused on, you've got to get a job so you're not broke. Fucking hell, think of something important that you want to achieve, do you know what I'm saying? And then build the infrastructure around that you can grow into something meaningful and sustainable, you know? Like, it pisses me off that everybody's focused on going to get a job on wages when, who are you working for? You're working for somebody else, where you could actually create that work environment yourself and have people working for you. So I'm advocating people getting their own businesses and starting their own businesses and creating their own wealth, you know, creating their own legacies. Rather than working for people, you can never have a legacy.
So I asked a few of my, because like I said, when I wanted to have this conversation with you, I want it to be very, very educational for the next generation and stuff like that. How can I make it be educational if I didn't ask them, if they was here, what questions would they like to ask you? So I've got like 2 in my head that I can think of right now. Is one of the kids asked me to ask you, how would you deal with peer pressure? So he's kind of around people who are peer pressuring him to maybe go to county lines, to be on the road, telling him, oh, why are you aspiring to be a rapper? No one makes it from Birmingham. Like, what advice would you have for him to swerve the peer pressure of the surroundings?
Well, the advice I'll give to that one kid will go unilaterally across the platform, right? Because it's the same message to all of them. Don't fall victim to the peer pressure, because the ones, think of it like this, the ones that are putting you under peer pressure are groomers, right? So someone who's putting you under peer pressure is grooming you. So don't pay attention to it. You know, just don't pay attention to it. Just ignore it and just get on with your life. Do other things like.
Because I think a lot of the time they're being threatened. Do you know what I mean? They're being threatened. Oh, well, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, we'll do this. Or maybe they've got something over them. Oh, you can't back out now because I know that you were shutting X, Y, and Z. I'll go and tell whoever.
Go and tell them, man.
Just
go and tell them.
Tell them. Go and tell them.
Go and tell them, mate. I'll face my karma. Do you know what I mean? I'll face whatever needs to come. I don't want to do that no more. I'm not doing it. Go about your business. Like, look, I got a lot of peer pressure not to give up crime. Do you know what I mean? Like, I fell out of some of my friends because I would give them contacts to other criminals. And I'm like, bruv, I'm not in that no more. But they're your pals, Marv. Why can't you just give me their number? I said, but I can't give you their number so you can ring them up and go and get gear. Like, they're my friends. I can't do that. Don't you understand? I'm not a criminal no more. If I give you their number, I can get arrested. I'm not getting arrested or going to prison for you. It's not happening. I wasn't strong enough to do that as a kid, but I'm strong enough to do it now. And I'm not going to prison for any person on this planet but my children.
That's it, man. You know
Do you know what I mean? And the only reason I'll go to prison for my children is if one of them was going to prison, I'll take their spot. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I'm not. You can punch me in my face. Well, I wouldn't say you can punch me in my face, but you can threaten me as much as you like.
We'll punch you in the belly and break the wrist.
I was going to say, you can do anything you want to me, right? Until you put your hand on me. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can say anything. You can comb my mum, comb my dad, comb my bird, say what you like. Do what you like. But just don't put your hands on me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I'll have to defend myself. I wouldn't want to, but I'll have to. Do you know what I'm saying? But I don't rise to it. I don't get angry in my car no more. I don't get fucking road rage. Do you know what I mean? Like, the only thing that actually makes me mad is my baby mums.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest. But that's just something that I don't think any man's going to learn to deal with any day soon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can relate.
That's the only thing that drives me nuts, the baby mums.
Yeah, thank you for that one. Okay, then. And then another one, that because it's fresh in my mind, was from people that are watching this, is that they could tell that you had a traumatic childhood. And
how could they tell?
From you telling your story.
No. See, you're making an assumption based on you reading or watching my stories. Some of your viewers might not have seen them podcasts.
True that.
Do you understand?
Yeah. True. Okay then. So, all right, let's reel that back in then. Marv, could you just, for the people that don't know, could you just touch upon some of the things that happened to you throughout your childhood, and then I can ask you that
some of
question
my trauma-based education.
Yeah, trauma-based education. That's how you want to say it.
Well, it is. I educated myself through trauma. Like, my world was full of trauma from the age of 9 years of age. Like, a lot of people might not empathise with this because not a lot of people done what I've done at my age. But people that know me, they know. And if the people don't know me, then go and ask your older lot about me, because some of them will know. And I don't really talk shit. I'm not here to glorify crime in any way, shape or form. But my life started 49 years ago. I was born in Liverpool to a mixed race family. My dad was Bayesian, my mum, Bayesian being Barbados, and my mum was white from Liverpool. My dad was black, obviously, but it wasn't taken well in Liverpool. My dad was a major drug dealer in the north of England. He used to work with the major criminal cartels out of Liverpool. He decided to move to London mid-70s to serve up down there and take his family with him. And we went to London, tried to fit in, and basically I was a scarce kid from out of town that had to fit in a multicultural, racial, racist area, like environment, youth clubs, schools, colleges, cafes, pubs, everywhere was no blacks, no dogs, and no Irish.
Okay.
And then you got a little mixed race scouser. So I wasn't allowed in the blacks or the whites houses. So my trauma started very young because of abandonment issues and sort of neglect. And then to fit in, I felt I had to become violent, to be noticed, to be heard, to be seen. So I was a very violent individual as a kid growing up. Obviously, I got brothers and sisters, so learning how to fight in the house was all good. Being educated on weaponry from my brothers and my dad was something that I took to like a duck to water. So anybody bigger than myself, I was always encouraged to use weapons with them.
Lick them down.
Yeah, so I just got brought up in a very hostile, sort of multicultural household, which was drug and violence and anger fueled. You know, so my dad burnt my hand over the fire from when I was 9 years of age for nicking a Star Bar and a Wrigley Spearmint gun. That was the first traumatic experience. And then he beat me with a belt and made me eat hot pepper and Kona sauce. That was for bringing the store detectives home. And then I rebelled and I started nicking all his puff, nicking all his weed, nicking all his money, getting beats for that, to the point where at 14 years of age, I used to nick all his puff and all his bits and pieces, but I never admitted it, obviously, because my dad was 6'4". He was a bit of a lump. He was a giant to a young man or a young kid. So I never ever give it a big one to him. I always nicked his fit on the sly like a little hyena. But I used to blame my mum. But because my mum was a nitty cat or drug abuser, I never really had that much respect for her as a young kid because I never had food. I never had the clothes all my mates had. And I had the fuck it mentality with my mum. So good getting a beating because I ain't got nothing because of you. I mean, and then I sort of grew up smoking crack and heroin from 11, 12, 13 years of age. At 14 years of age, I pulled a bayonet out of my dad, a big sort of bayonet what you put on the end of a rifle, an old, you know, like the old guns in the war. Bayonet's the knife that goes on the end of it. So my dad was beating my mum up one day. I was in my bedroom with 4 of my mates because we'd been out thieving that day. And then my dad's come to the house. I started battering my mum. But I heard it because they used to do all the weed for the carnival and that, yeah. Okay. So all the little strips of draw you buy, my dad used to supply the carnival or a certain part of the carnival with that. So when he used to do his bags, I used to nick all the drawers and then sell it with all my mates. Do you know what I'm saying? So I've heard him beat my mum up, but this day he's turned up. Usually my mum and dad always fight, and then we come in, my mum's got a black eye, busted lip, or whatever. And like, you are, mum, oh, fucking wanker. But this day, I'm actually in the bedroom upstairs, and I can hear my dad saying, you thieving little bitch, you this, you that, and he's battering her. But I'm in the room with 3 or 4, I can't remember exactly, other kids that are nicking the puff with me. They're selling the puff with me. They're buying trainers. They're going their way. They're going down Margate. They're doing shit on the buses. They're getting about it. And I'm saying, what the fuck? Come on, lads, man. It's my mum, innit? It's my mum. So I've picked the bayonet up, thinking my 4 pals were behind me. So I've run down the stairs, but they never come to the bottom. And I've run down, booted the kitchen door up. I'm full of adrenaline. Gone in the kitchen, touch her again, you cunt. I want to kill you. But I'll just see him freeze. And I'll just sort of see him shit himself a little bit, as if to say, what the fuck? And he's gone, all right. So get out of my house, mate. This ain't your house no more. And at 14 years of age, when I see my dad sort of back up, it just filled me with confidence, you know. And I was like, come on, out. And I walked into the front door and I said, you ever come back to my mum's house again and put your hands on my mum again, I'll kill you stone dead. Do you understand me? And he was like, all right. You look after yourself, and just walked off. And I thought, you mug. Do you know what I mean? And then he's gone down. I said to my mum, you never let him in. She was sort of blown away. I don't think she expected that to happen, nor did I, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? But it happened. He went, and that was the start of insanity, because I actually believed that day that I was the baddest man in northwest London. Because all the people I knew were scared of my dad. Do you know what I mean? Because you know when you see, like, you see when you walk in a place, you see the look on people's faces. You go, that's my dad. It's my dad. I used to buzz off that. Do you know what I'm saying? So when I've seen him be scared of me, all of a sudden now, I'm badder than my dad. I don't give a fuck about no one now. Do you know what I mean? And all my dad's mates were mugs to me then. Do you know what I'm saying?
Because they're all shook of your pop sort of thing.
So I just took his stripes, and then I just went out into the big wide world and believed it. And I sort of went through life blindly, really, without confidence. There's a full sense of blind confidence. And then it just led on to knives, guns, robberies, and every other crime you can ever imagine, you know. And led a life of misery, if I must say so. So what escalated after my dad was all the hardest sort of criminal sort of enterprises or ideas, anything you could do as a criminal, anything to do with nicking money. So from 14 years of age, we used to nick car stereos, burgle houses, and then we went on to burgling, and then robbing delivery trucks. Okay. So we went from car stereos to the cars to the burglaries, but the cars we earned a lot of money from, and then basically went from the car stereos to the cars to the burgling. And then from the burgling, I didn't like burgling because it was in people's house, so I didn't feel comfortable. So I went on straight from the burgling to the delivery trucks. Started with the post office at first, and then the West End for the shops, and then from the delivery trucks to the money trucks to the security call vans, then from the security call vans into the drugs, from the drugs into Europe, from Europe for the rest of the world. So it was just a progression of exit. So my progression was my exit strategy out of that world. But then when I got to the top of the ladder, I realised there ain't no out.
So that's where we can kind of get to, like, where was the turning point for you then? For the viewers that don't know.
The first initial turning point was realising that I never had any friends. So I'd spent 40 years of my life, right, literally running around England, Europe, England and Europe for the first 30 years of my life. Just cutting, stabbing, shooting, beating and robbing for other people. Helping other people, assisting other people and doing things for other people. Happily, and I was happily sort of content with my life. And I was happy doing what I was doing because I believed all my people I was working with were my friends. And then I got shot in 2008 5 times. So I got shot in my leg, my eye. I like taking that out because it shows the youngsters it ain't a joke. So I got shot point blank range in the eye, which is a miracle I'm still here. Once in the leg, once in the arm, once in the forehead. So one in the leg, one in the willy, shot my right testicle out. One through the arm, went through my spine, through my pelvis and wrapped my spine out. 2 vertebrae at the bottom of my spine got shattered. Then one in the forehead and one in the eye. They were the last 2 final shots when he tried to assassinate me. And obviously I woke up the next day. I'll show you the pictures of that, smiling, happy that I can wiggle my toes, I'm still alive. So now it's like, I'm buzzing, to be fair.
Yeah,
I've been shot, I woke up, I'm alive, I've wiggled my toes, I'm going to be better in a minute. So to me, it's just part and parcel of the journey. I've been shot, I've survived, the fucking mug. Let's get on with life. So now I'm in the hospital, I'm still training a bit of puff. I had a couple of 100 key of puff around me at the stage and a couple of handfuls of sniff. So a handful of sniff is 5. So I had a couple of handfuls, like maybe 10, 15 key of sniff around me at the time. I had maybe 200 to 400 key of puff, 80 key of weed. You know, so I had a nice little bit of eating money around me. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was still in it. And that was just bits that was around me that day. Woke up, got better, I thought, look, I've got to get back on my feet. And then just sort of like, obviously as you do, you wake up and think, you're all right, I'm back to normal, let's get back on with it. So I'm ringing people. And it's like, none of my people are responding. And I'm like, what the fuck's the matter with this fella? Next thing, the phone's dead. So I'm ringing people. I'm thinking, what the fuck's the matter with everyone? And then someone come over to see me. I was like, what's happening, man? What's the fuck? I can't get hold of no one. I said, yeah, no, I heard. I was like, what do you mean you heard? He said, well, first, people, I think, was more worried that I was going to ask them to return the ag. Right, so I said to someone, look, this is under control. This ain't even a problem, you know. Trust me, there ain't no go back. There ain't no comeback. The geezer's an absolute mug that shot me. Do you know what I mean? He's actually, he ain't went and handed himself in.
Yeah, because you
know
knew the
come on, man. Like,
repercussions.
there ain't no ag here. Like, there ain't no beef here with any Spanish people. There ain't no beef here with any Irish, Italian, Greek. Like, there ain't no ag, African, Moroccan, Dutch, fucking, yeah, no one. Never had ag with no one. I worked with everybody. So I was telling people, why is everyone? I said, no. And then I just couldn't work. I actually couldn't work it out at first, right? At first I was like, why are people responding? And then the more I got better, the more I started realising. Do you know what I mean? It's like, now I'm in a position where I'm a victim. And in any other circumstances, I suppose anybody would have looked for help.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
So that's what started dropping on me. I thought. So I rang someone. So I said, why have you not come over, mate? So I'm struggling for readies at the minute, Marv. I said, all right, do you want me to send you some money over? Would you? I said, yeah, of course I will. So I've sent someone money to come and see me. I sent some people bits and pieces to come and see me. And I'm thinking, well, hold on. How about the people that have actually got money? How about my people that are actually doing all right? How about X, Y, Z that I've fucking shot people for? How about X, Y, Z that I've gone to prison for? How about, where the fuck are these lot? Do you know what I mean? Like, where's my people?
That's when the penny dropped.
That's when the penny dropped, mate, that I ain't got no people. I was just everybody's benefit. I wasn't even a friend. For them to pick up the phone and say, how are you?
Yeah.
How's your leg? Heard what happened. Just, that cunt been shot. Oh, fuck. That's it now. He's finished. See you later. So I just thought, all these people that I've actually gone and risked my liberty for, stayed away from my kids for, stayed away from my family, sat in prison happily for these fucking scumbags, grooming no good cunts. Do you know what I mean? For when I'm on my deathbed, yeah, they don't even want to send me a hello. I don't need money off no one, right? And anybody that knows me, yeah, will know. Yeah. I'd say 3 people in my life that have financially supported me. And there's only 3, right? Everybody else has used me. Now, the 3 people that have helped me, 2 of them have known me since I was 7 years of age. The other person met me after I got shot. But them 3 people there are the only people that I would ever ask for money. Do you know what I mean? Apart from, if I've given you money in the past, and I'll give you a couple of grand, and I might be out and I say, have you got any readies on you? That might happen.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to ask anybody that I've done nothing with or for a pound note. It's never going to happen. And when I was in Spain, I invited people over and I would pay for their flight, pay for their accommodation. I've never asked anybody for anything. And that's why I couldn't understand why they wouldn't come and see me. Like, I just get it. And then people say, oh, I don't want to come over. I thought he was going to get put on me by old Bill. And I thought, well, I wouldn't give a fuck if my pal got shot. I'm coming to see you, bro.
Yeah.
And that's when I started realising, you know what, these lot of mugs. And then basically after I got better, it took me 2.5 years to walk again. Because I had to break my leg consistently for 18 months to recalcify so I could get strong. Throughout that period of time, I met a few new friends my friends now. So one of my mates, I met him, Daniel. He had a bar and a few bits and pieces going on. And basically, because I was in such a mess, like, I'm going to his bar and his cafe to eat every day. And one day he just sort of said to me, look, do you know, can you do me a favour? I said, what's that? He said, would you mind running a bill up here? I said, what do you mean? He said, like, I feel really funny, like, and I'd prefer you to run a bill up.
Okay.
He said, because I know you're not making any money at the moment. I know it's hard work out here. He said, I know you got a family you're looking after. He said, and I know it's a burden right now. He said, so if you wouldn't mind, just run a bill up in my bar, yeah? And when you can walk, and when you're earning money again, you can square your bill up then.
Okay.
I was like, oh, that's wicked, man. Thanks. I'd appreciate that. Thank you very much. Because things was hard, bro.
Could
So,
imagine,
like,
yeah.
I had a few bits going on, but I can't get up and make no money. I can't get up and make no money. Now, my world has always been around me making my money. So if I can't get up and make no money, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
So when all this was happening, a lot of my friends fell off. Well, all my friends, apart from 5 or 6 of them, fell off. I never had no money coming in. I had money there, but no money coming in. So once that money's gone, I'm fucked. So he give me the olive branch, the food, saved me, like, not paying for food every day, like, so your breakfast, dinner, and lunch, or breakfast, lunch, and dinner is massive when you're in a foreign country, right? So, because I got given that carte blanche, and then basically the people in the bar used to come to the gym with me, things escalated, and then we developed MTK out of the strength of that. That's what MTK built out of the back of mine and Daniel's relationship, I believe. Me and him become really good friends. He advised me a lot over the years, and basically, when I got better, I said, right, is there anything I can do for you now? Now I'm better, anything I can do for you? He said, no, just look after your family. I said, what do you mean? I said, I want to do something for you, like, you've done something for me, you've helped me for the last few years. What can I do to help you? He said, be a good dad. He said, you don't owe me nothing, Marvin, man. He said, look, you've been through hell and back. Now you're back on your feet. I'm just glad to know you, mate. Like,
love that.
And I was like, wow, that's sick. I was like, look, I'll do anything for you. And this is when the penny dropped for me. He said, why would I expect you to go to prison for me? He said, you're my friend. He said, I wouldn't ask you to do anything that might jeopardise you going to prison. Not that he asked me to do anything for him. It's just the fact that when he said that to me, I realised, you know what? Every friend I had expected me to go to prison. Every friend I had risked my liberty. Were they really my friends? And that's when I realised that's when I understand the definition of friendship. Like, Daniel is my friend. I mean, he's never done anything to me or for me that has been a detriment or anything less for me to learn from. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't even know him, mate.
That's a great way for people to, when they're looking in, to see that genuine friendships. Sometimes that person ain't looking to benefit from you. Do you know what I mean?
Like, a friendship is no benefit.
A genuine one, any yeah.
Like, I know when I knock on my friend's house, he don't think, what do you want? What's he knocking on my house for? He's like, right, I've seen you for time, right.
What's going on, yeah.
It's nice, it's love, yeah. Right, so when I turn up at my friend's house, we're surprised to see each other. We go around, we eat with each other. Like, there's no benefit there. We're just friends, isn't it? And sometimes friends work with each other. Sometimes they fall out. But I learned the definition of friendship in Spain, you know. And I learned very quickly after I got shot that I never had any friends. I had a handful of friends. But 98% of the people that I knew, I was their benefit. And that's what I'm sort of getting into the youngsters now. So although I rose up through the criminal fraternity and made it to the highest level you can in the criminal world, yeah, I advocate for what?
For what?
I've done all that really for what? For what? To be sitting here with you talking what I'm talking?
Yeah.
What was the fucking point? I mean, there was no point to that life I led for so long for me to actually sit here and do what we're doing today. For what? So I can sit here and talk to you. So my journey has been so I can be here doing what I'm doing. So when people say, for what is to be here doing what I'm doing now. Do you know what I mean? Like,
sorry. So when you come back to London, like, what were the first things that you done? Because obviously, like you're saying, you healed yourself.
I walk around my enemies' areas.
Okay. Just to let them know that, like, I'm home if you have an issue.
Yeah, I went to see a couple of enemies. I rung a couple of enemies. Contacted a couple of enemies. And that was it.
Got to square things out.
I'm here, innit? No, I'm here, I'm vulnerable. I'm back. I don't want to ag with anyone else. But if anyone wants any ag, I'm here. One little firm attacked me. Firm-handed. Okay. a young aspiring gangster, and his dad. But they never done anything. They never cut. I think he cut me inside of my mouth with a punch, the son. Because as the son was punching me 5 or 6 times, I'm actually asking his dad if I'm having a straightener. Yeah. So he's hitting me. I'm saying, am I having a straightener with him or what? Am I having a straightener with him or what? And then the old man's realised, oh, do you know what, if I let him have a straightener with him, he's going to turn him in. Yeah. So he steamed into me again. Okay. And then he realised halfway through, fuck. He said, you know what, you didn't need, you weren't supposed to be here. You need to go and get in your car and go home. So I got in the car and went home. But yeah, that was the only ag I had after my shooting. But I was never shook of anyone anyway. I was the spearhead for all the ag. Do you know what I mean? Everyone knows me. Do you know what I mean? I was just that guy. Like, I was that lunatic. Like, my nickname was Mad Marv. Do you know what I mean? Like, that lunatic, that madman, he's a lunatic. So that was the part I played. That was the person I was. And that was my character, you know. And now I look back, I actually know I was literally insane. Do you understand? Like, I was insane. And I'm not proud of it. I'm proud that I'm not insane anymore. Yeah. And I'm doing what I'm doing now. But I literally was certified clinically insane. Like, even when I think, like think about it, yeah? If you think it's okay, yeah, to stab someone because you don't like them, or they look at you the wrong way, it's okay to shoot someone if they owe you a bit of money, or they disrespect your missus. And disrespect is just talking to your missus in an environment that you're alien to. Do you understand? Like, walking past my car and looking at me a certain way, you want to jump out and stab someone up for that. Like, what the fuck is your head at? Do you know what I mean? Like, you want to nick money, so you go and risk 25, 30 years of your life robbing a security van for peanuts. If you get nicked, all right, you might get 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand, 300. You might get that. Do you know what I'm saying? You're like, we had loads of money off, but then you don't invest it. You don't build it. You just spend it on your watches, your cars, your women, your drugs, your drink, your holidays. Then you got to go back to work again. So it's a never-ending cycle. It's a never-ending cycle. A never-ending cycle. And the ones that do invest in business, they invest in business. And then just when they think it can't get any better, their world falls apart. They get everything taken off them. They get nicked on an old case and they get a DTOA. Next thing you know, they've got to do another lump of bird on top of the bird they're doing for all the money the police are saying that they've earned. What's the point?
What is it, the DTOA?
The drug traffickers order.
Oh, okay. So that means that if you can't vouch for where this money's come from for all of your stuff.
No, they make it up, bro.
I just make it up on you.
One of my youngsters, right? He got out. I was trying to mentor him back onto the road. He tried to get back into music. I told him not to get into music. I'll get the paper cutting for you, and you can put it up. They took £333,000 in assets off him, but never took nothing. Never had nothing. But they put it in the paper like they took all this stuff off him. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, they just say you've earned this much money. We believe you've done this. We believe you've done that. So you owe us X amount of money now, and you got to pay it for the drug. But there was it was the proceeds of crime, a POCA. Okay. So you got a DTOA, which is a drug trafficking act, or you got the proceeds of crime act. 2 different fines. But the POCA, the DTOA, you can get extra bird on. I'm not sure if the POCA you can. I think POCA's just assets you might have. Yeah? So they're saying they've took 300 grand worth of assets off him. Okay. But they haven't. Yeah. Okay. He texted someone, how much is that Rolex? They said £3,000. They said he had that Rolex. How much is that diamond? That diamond's X amount of money. Let's say he had that diamond. They haven't got no physical attribute which they took. It's all emails or messages they're saying that he had, and it's just madness the way the world runs at the moment.
So, Marv, for the people that don't know, like, you have done a lot of amazing work. Do you know what I mean? One thing that I'd love to highlight or get you to highlight is when you took a trip to Downing Street. Like, what was that like from the life that you led to the life that you're living now?
And do you know what? You can't even dress it up any more than it was. It was, I've got, it's just, mate, it was so fucking unbelievable. I had to pinch myself.
I couldn't imagine.
I thought it was a wind-up. Literally, I thought it was a wind-up.
So did you get a letter?
No. I got a phone call.
A phone call?
Off my mate, Dr. Mark Prince, right? So,
big up Mark, man.
Big up Mark Prince, my brother.
Yeah.
Right, so, I've done a workshop with Mark. Gone home, gone to sleep, woke up, gone out doing what I'm doing. Same thing that day. Next day, I've gone to sleep, woke up. Mark's run me up. He said, you got any glad rags? I said, what do you mean? He said, your best suit. I said, yeah, why? He said, you're coming Downing Street. That's what I done. I started laughing. I said, Mark, mate, because I know what journey he's on and where he is, yeah? I said, Mark, that ain't going to happen, man. I said, you need to ring up and get me cleared, mate. You can't tell me that. I ain't ever going to get clearance to get to Downing Street. He said, what are you talking about? You've already been cleared. I'm ringing up to let you know you're on this afternoon, 3 o'clock. You need to meet me. I was like, are you joking? He was like, nah. I said, don't wind me up, Mark. He said, Mark, I'm telling you. He said, you've been cleared. I said, shut up. Are you sure? He's like, Marv, you've been cleared. Now, I'm being honest, right? And Mark, you'll get on this as well, right? I actually believed you were still fanning into me. So I got dressed, I put my suit on, I thought, I'm going to go down there. And if he wants to make himself look like a mug, that's his business. But I didn't believe I was walking in. So I pulls up, gets out of the cab. No, we walked up. We walked up together with a major. So we walked up. I've got in the queue. The major's walked off. So I'm standing talking to Big Nasty.
Yeah, I was in that video, yeah.
So I said, what's happening, Nasty? Yeah. All of a sudden, me and him were having a little laugh and a joke. And I've heard, Marvin? And I was like, someone calling me. And I've turned around, I've seen the major by the gate. And he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm queuing up. No, you don't queue up. You come straight through. So I was like, okay. Really? He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So then all the celebrities there going to meet the Prime Minister on that day. So I've been fast-tracked past all the celebrities, straight to the front of the queue, straight through security, straight into Downing Street. Like, never even got a proper search. Like, I've never got a proper, I got a little, put your stuff in the box, little pat down, but nothing.
You was expecting, like,
mate, I was expecting a strip search.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm not joking. I've had anti-terrorist police on me for years. I've had flying squad on me for years. I've had SO19, SO9. I've had all these firms. Like, people don't know all the SOs and the SO19s, the SO7s, the SO9s, what group they are, the anti-terrorists and all that sort of stuff. But I've had the deepest, darkest police forces, baddest, elite officers on me. And now all of a sudden, I'm walking into Downing Street. 2014, I was nicked with Dale Cregan, who killed the 2 police officers up in Manchester. I was Mr. Big in that case. Do you know what I mean? 2.5 years after I bust that case, they're telling me I'm going Downing Street. I never believed it in a million years. But it just shows you the power of retribution, right? And the power of rehabilitation. Like, so if I, Marvin Herbert, can get to Downing Street, then these youngsters have got more than enough opportunities to make it.
Love that.
More than enough opportunities to make it anywhere they want on this planet, let alone Downing Street, you know. And that's the mad thing that I try to emulate to everybody, yeah. Now, I'm a founding member of MTK. I'm a founding member and a shareholder of Global Football Academy, Holland, Spain, Portugal, Dubai and London. Time Out Soccer USA is now Watford FC USA, and I'm part of the Watford USA coaching team. Do you know what I'm saying? So there ain't nothing that no one can't do.
Yeah.
If I could do it.
You're living proof, man.
I'm living proof that you can run your own businesses and companies. Now, I do mentoring, public speaking, motivation speaking. I do the football academy and a little bit of boxing. Do you know what I mean? And I turn over a nice amount of money every year. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, obviously, this COVID's messed it up.
Yeah.
But prior to COVID, I could afford to put my 2 daughters through boarding school, drive a 70 grand car and live in £500,000 house. Do you know what I mean? So,
one thing I forgot to get you to touch upon is when you put the bid in to the jail.
Yeah. Well, going through that journey and living that life, and then coming out the back end of that, knowing that you can be sustainable, safe, happy, secure, and at peace. Yeah, there's nothing better than that. So no one's booting off my door. No one's looking to nick me. No one's looking to rob me. No one's doing nothing because I'm working. Do you know what I mean? I'm working that. So started working for 2-3 years. And then Serco reached out. And it was through a guy called Sean Talbot. Sean Talbot was an SO. He's coming on a podcast in the next couple of weeks. I've already recorded it. We're going to release it. So Sean Talbot was an SO on the wing in the high security jail I used to be in. And his job was to nick me in the jail. Because I run the drug culture. That was their intelligence. That Marvin Herbert runs the drug culture. Marvin Herbert's got this and that going on, and we need to nick him. So he come in to nick me. So he knew me. He's come on the podcast. Sorry, I forgot the purpose of that conversation.
Oh, it was the bid that you put in?
Right. So basically, he's come to me one day and said, look, I want you to come on a meeting. We've got people to speak to, part of Serco, blah, 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 blah. So I said, yeah, speak, no problem. So I got a little team of people together who were all delivering services, and we've gone on this meeting with Serco. And then it turns out that it ain't just a meeting with Serco. Serco's are putting a bid in for the super prison in Wellingborough that's opening this year.
Okay.
Right, so I would have been, if not the governor, the managing SO. So I would have been an SO or a governor of the resettlement unit of not Winchester, of Wellingborough super prison. The new prison, 1,600 inmates is holding. It's opening up in Wellingborough this year. If it's not already open, I was going to be the head of management or governor of resettlement.
Okay, is that to help people, rehabilitate people?
It was a prison to rehabilitate them back into society, yeah. And to get back into being normal, innit? Becoming a conducive member of society. Yeah,
and you where did you come in that?
Second.
You came second.
G4S won the bid, and then there was, I think, 4 or 6 other people, but G4S was in the bid, and we came second. So it's only first next time available. Really. I mean, so it's all growth. And that was 2 years after turning my life around. I mean, that was 2 years after. That was 2017, 2018, right? No, it wasn't. It was just after 2018. Because it was after I went to Milton Keynes.
So, yeah, this was... When was that bid? Was that last year?
The year before.
Oh, the year before.
So we're in 21 now.
Yeah.
It might have been year 19, 2019 we got that, lost that bid.
Okay. But even though...
No, it would have been 2019, 2020, yeah.
2019, 2020.
They said it's open in 2021.
Yeah. But even though you came second, you still seen it as a sense of achievement, isn't it?
Wow, what do you mean? That is a massive sense of achievement, man. Like, that is a massive achievement, not sense of achievement.
Yeah.
To actually get told that you come second to G4S, that's like going into a fast food competition and coming second to McDonald's. You're not going to grumble, are you?
No, of course
not. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. So I was blown away with that. That blew me away. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that the best thing I got an email off the Metropolitan Police, yeah, head of gangs, head of the National Gang Unit, wants me to go in and work with the kids.
Massive.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's police emailing me. I've done a couple of workshops with the police, and I'm happy now. You know, like, the police was never my enemy. I've always said that, man. The police was never my enemy. I was never a grass, never a snitch. And if you catch me, you catch me. If you don't, then it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
Yeah.
So I played the game with the police played the game with me. I never whinged and moaned about anything I got nicked for, anything I went away for. I never grassed anyone up, never done anything not like noncy. Do you know what I mean? So I lived that life to the highest level with the best integrity that a criminal could have. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but I've never had more of a buzz, more of a purpose, and more of a sense of belonging. No, I actually believe like I exist and I belong to something worthy. Whereas before, I was just dancing between raindrops, hiding in the shadows, you know, like hurting, bringing misery, suffering and pain to everywhere we went. That's all it was. misery, suffering and pain. That was all we brought to the table. And then we got paid lots of money for that. And it wasn't a nice existence, you know, like I never slept well at night. You know what I mean? I was never at ease. I was never at peace. I was constantly paranoid, constantly on the edge of my seat. I mean, couldn't sit with my back to the door. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you looked at me longer than 5 seconds, he was either a causer or an enemy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it was a very toxic life. Now, to release yourself of all that pressure, like, naturally, is amazing. So
massive weight off your back.
Mate, and it's like, people say, are you scared of people coming and retaliate? Well, no, I'm not. I'm not. It ain't the ag I'm scared of, right? That's not the problem, right? The one thing that scares me is my kids growing up without their dad and ending up in a similar place to me. That's my fear. Right? And my fear was always, my kids have got to have. I've got to give my kids what I never had. And that was the biggest mistake I made. Because I believe my kids needed more materialistic acquisition than they had. They needed more money than they could handle. And it was my job to make sure they had it all, whether I'm there or not. So as long as my kids had everything, I was a good dad. When I wasn't.
They needed you, innit? They wanted...
But when you're brought up by a crackhead, right, and a man that's not around much, and you're addicted to heroin and crack by the time you're 13, like, what fucking chance you got?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, where's your reality? Where's your normality? You know, and I'm not looking at it as an excuse, but that was my reality, you know? And a lot of kids don't realise how fortunate they are to eat food every day.
100%.
Do you understand? Like, a couple of kids I mentor now, they've got no reason to be naughty.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? They're getting fed, they're getting birthday presents, Christmas presents, they're dressed in the nicest clobber, the sickest attire, and yet they're out here doing what? For what?
For what?
For what? And that's why I get into their heads now. If you ain't doors and your mum and dad are looking after you, what the fuck you being a criminal for?
Trust me.
Do you know what I mean? Go and get a job and create a business.
Yeah, stop forcing a life that ain't you, that ain't your surroundings, that
it's
ain't...
not them, man. We was all in it to get out of it.
Or for survival, or
we
to
was
eat.
in it to get out of it. In it to get out of it. No one was in it for in its sake. And everybody that I know and everybody I come into contact with would get out of that life in a heartbeat tomorrow morning.
If they had the chance or the opportunity.
No. If they had the opportunity to live happily, right, with the same money, they'd all get out if they were earning the same money in anything.
Yeah.
And they're not even earning no money. They're handling a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? Like, I used to handle hundreds of millions of pounds a year. So that was my confidence. That was my belief structure system. Like, I just believed that all that money was part of mine. And it wasn't. It was someone else's and I was handling it. But you believe it's yours and you can use it.
It's yours, yeah.
So
in terms of like the Marvin Herbert Foundation, yeah, is that right?
The Marvin Herbert Limited is the company,
is the company. So what things, are you okay to say what things you have in the pipeline or what, when this pandemic's over, what are you going to be focusing on?
All that's going to happen when this pandemic's over, we're going to open up the door for personal training, physical training, mentoring, roofing, scaffolding, and household maintenance stuff. So they're all the companies that I have ready to employ people for training and employment. So we've got the exits in boxing, football, and building. So that's what we do. We get people trained up in boxing, football, and building, household stuff, scaffolding, roofing, and then getting them employed.
Okay. And obviously, how have you been taking the podcast world? Do you know what I mean? I'm guessing this is it's how long have you been doing podcasts for now?
Since Christmas I started.
Since Christmas. Okay. Yeah. You've done amazing. You've so many videos on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? Very gripping. I'd say I'm one of them kind of person that I do read comments and stuff, and some of the people will say that you talk a lot, like it's the Marvin show, but people need to realise that this is your life that you're sharing, this is the life that you're putting across. I
don't think a lot of people understand the principle behind nothing but the truth. Do you know what I mean? Although everybody's on this podcast world, I'm trying to change the narrative. Okay. And the only way I can change the narrative is by talking.
Yeah, which is understandable. Which is understandable.
Because it's not about giving praise and glory to people. It's about changing the mindsets of the youngsters coming not to do what I done. So the only way they're going to understand that or have any empathy towards that is by hearing what I've done and what I've been through. And that's part of my aim and goal, you know, just to get out there as much as I've done that. Because I don't let my guests talk. I do let them talk when they've got something constructive and positive to say. When I feel they're venturing down a road that's, what do you call it? It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, so I had a couple of guests that want to keep repeating old stories, and I'm like, we're not here to tell you stories, mate. Do you know what I mean? We're here to change the narrative.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But they don't get it. They just want to sit there talking about blazing and making money, and I'm not here for that. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes when I cut people and shut people, because I know them all, I know where they're trying to go.
Yeah. Because I don't think people realise that a podcast is like a conversation. So them in-depth conversations that you might have with a friend, when it comes to camera, you're gonna know when, oh God, he's gonna start saying something that he don't need to say. Bring it back to here, and that's the way of a host, isn't it? Yeah. And like you're saying, you didn't aspire. Did you aspire to be a podcast host? No.
I was sitting indoors one day, and I thought, you know what? COVID's here.
Yeah.
Let me just go. I was sitting in front of the computer doing nothing. I thought, what's that, live? Oh, let me do a Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So I started doing Facebook Lives.
Okay.
And then everyone started responding really well. And then someone said, you should do a podcast. You should do this, you should do that. So I thought, oh, let me try it. Let me just try it.
And from there, it's just soared off because your content and your stories are so gripping. Like from any age group, even up to the oldest, you know what I mean? It'd be good to see your statistics because I know a lot of my youngsters are tuned in. Do you know what I mean? They're learning a lot of things. They're then coming back to me, oh, what does this mean? Or whatever. And I'm being able to dissect it down for them because sometimes the youngsters are not at that level of thinking that you're at. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we all have to build up, but obviously, you've been through so many traumatic experiences, and you've been able to turn it around. A lifetime of trauma, and you've been able to turn it around, and you're doing positive and great things now. And these are you're the kind of figures that the youngsters are looking up to. Do you know what I mean?
About time.
But it's good that they're looking up to.
It's about time, because I would never have looked up to someone like me growing up as a kid. I thought, what's he on about? Fucking go work for months.
But you know what it is? A lot of people will have a story to tell, but you have the proof in the pudding as well. So these guys can sit around olders and they say, yeah, I've done this, yeah, I've done that. Did you? Cool. Mate, you're open. You showed pictures, you showed about your leg, snapping your leg, and all them kind of things. When you take your eye out as well, it's there to be seen. And then they're thinking, bro, how did he survive a gunshot to the head? Only the most high knows. Two. One in your eye.
One in my eye. It went through my eyelid, and into my eye, and then stopped halfway through.
Obviously, do you believe that it's a most high that prevented that? Because, come on, man. Do you know what I mean? A shot to the eye, point blank. Do you know what I mean?
And then the mad thing about it as well, I got shot in my willy, and it never went through my willy and chopped my willy off. It went down my willy and shot my right testicle out. Imagine that.
That's mad. Wow. And now you're a testimony of change. You know what I mean? You can go through all of that.
But if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Because I never ever believed I was going to be straight. I never for a minute did I ever consider being straight throughout my entire career. Ever. Not once.
Did you think you was going to die? Live by the gun, die by the gun sort of thing?
Yeah. I was prepared to die for years. Been ready to die for years. Like, fuck it, we're going to go, let's go. That's it. It's always been the right mindset. Because to me, it's only going black. It's only going black. Do you know what I mean?
Do you believe that's why you was able to be successful in that field? Because you just never had no sense of fear? Do you know what I mean? Like some people, they'll build themselves up, I'm going to go and do it. And then when it's time to do it, I ain't got the heart for this, bro.
That's what separates everything, isn't it? But it's... I couldn't say I never had fear, because everyone has fear to a certain degree, But my ambitions and my motivation overtook my fear.
Okay.
So I mean, like my need for achievement, my need for success, outweighed the fear. So I mean, like, the fear was
just put it to the back of your head and just plow on with whatever you need to do.
I've got to eat, bruv.
Yeah.
I've got to eat. Do you know what I mean? Then I've got to eat and I've got to feed my kids. Like, so to me, there's no space for fear. Do you know what I mean? I've got things to do, so I've done what I had to do. And if I'm going to prison, then I'm in prison. I know I'm going to make money in prison. So I'm not advocating making money in prison, because making money in prison, I never got no C-cap, never got no D-cap, never got no home leave, never got no town visit, never got no nothing. Yeah, I got out of my EDR with no parole. I never got parole, never got an easy release, never got a D-cap. Why? Because I wanted to sell drugs in prison.
Okay.
Do you understand? So you sell drugs in prison, you make money in prison, you stay in prison longer. Yeah, I could have been out, every one of my sentences, I could have been out after 2 years. But every one of my sentences, I've done 4.5 years. Why? For what?
For what?
For what? Do you know what I mean? And people say to me, why don't you get a bit of parole and get out? Fuck parole. I don't want parole.
I don't care. I'm going to do what I need to do when I'm in here.
Because in my head, yeah, I've got parole, and then you're not going to recall me whenever you want. Fuck that.
Yeah. You might as well just do what I need to do. And then...
Fuck you, I don't want parole. Stick it up your ass, mate. Yeah, I'll do my bird and get out. Got done my bird, get out and start again. No, I was never in that getting out and changing my life. Never. When I got shot, I was still in it. So, I mean, it was only young G-Man, young Gotten, that made me turn my life around. Otherwise, I wouldn't have turned my life around. If that never happened with young Gotten, I'd still be in it now. So, I mean, so it's not like I've walked away from that life out of fear or scared or intimidation. Do you know what I mean? Because I was still in it. I was still grafting when I couldn't even fucking walk. Do you know what I mean? I was still in it hard, doing mad shit, right? And then I come back to England. And when I actually come back to England, I've said it on another podcast, I actually come back with the intentions to chop the feet and the hands off the man that shot me and stab his eyes. That was my reason for coming back to England. Do you know what I mean? And then over the space of 18 months, I started doing the public speaking and the intervention work with the youngsters. And I found out where the kid lived, found out where his people lived, found out where all his people went, it was bits and pieces. And then my kid was in boarding school. So I was like, well, if I do that, my kids' life's fucked. So I just thought, fuck that.
And by then you had a purpose to live as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to look after my daughters, man.
And obviously you was doing intervention work. So
then it was just like, oh, fuck it, man. I ain't going to bother. I want to stick here. And then things turned around and I started my recording label, my record label, my football, it was the record label, the recording studio first, and then the football academy. Do you know what I mean? And then the football academy went through the roof last year. So that's Watford FC now. So now I'm Watford FC.
Okay, congratulations.
Well, a bit low on batteries.
Yeah, last thing now. So the last thing that I'd like to ask you 2 questions actually. I normally ask people 1, but firstly is, do you have any positive affirmations or quotes or anything that you live by? Bath or what?
Never give up, mate.
Never give up.
Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up.
Okay. Keep striving.
Just just never give up. Yeah, and just make sure you eat healthy and you train well, and that's it. That's all. They're the things I tell everyone. Like, you don't realise the power in you are what you eat, and there's a reason why they say that. So if you eat an alkaline diet with no animal products, and get yourself there, right, you'll feel amazing. And then introduce the animal products, and you'll feel the difference. Like, and you see it. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to be a trial to yourself, you know. Trial and error. But I've had the sickest diets, the wickedest diets, the filthiest diets. I've been through everything. I've seen it, and I'm telling you now, I've never been more happier than I am right now in my life. And my life ain't perfect by no means of imagination, you know. Like, I'm still having domestics with the missus, still having domestic with the ex-missus, still having a domestic with the baby mum. You know, like, nothing in my life's perfect. Do you know what I mean? But it's got to continue. We've got to keep moving forward. And the headache is what I call, it's my peripheral sort of stress that I have to deal with. So rather than having the street and the gangsters and the guns and the shooting to deal with. Now I've got to deal with domestic.
Yeah.
So you're going to have that added pressure no matter what you do.
Yeah.
You've got to navigate yourself through everything anyway. You're never going to have a plain sailing life. Even people that are billionaires don't have plain sailing lives. No one does. It's not possible.
It's not possible, man.
The universe is built on cause and reaction. Cause and effect. Right? So how you react to a situation will have an effect. So make sure you stop reacting and start responding positively to anything, no matter what happens. Do you know what I mean? And then you'll see a different light. And that's all I've done for the last couple of years, and it works.
And then the last thing is do you have any advice for the next generation?
Stay away from crime.
Stay away from crime.
Crime don't pay. No, it literally doesn't pay. It doesn't pay. Now, I'll give you an example, right? And this is a factual example. Now, to be the most successful or one of the most successful criminals on the planet, right? You need to risk your liberty every single day of your life for a price you can't put your finger on. You've got to be prepared to stab, shoot and kill and go to prison forever. That's starting point. That's your starting point, right? And then you've got to go through life, in and out of prison, living in misery, with no money, living in shitholes, sleeping on piss holes. Do you know what I mean? Like your beds are, like 1 million people slept on your bed in the shovel. Do you know what I mean? You got people having sex with your mattress in the shovel. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're like, this shit happens, bro. Yeah, you got to sleep on beds that people have wanked over and shit on, and it's not a joke, bro.
Nasty.
Right?
Take this in, young people.
No, but that's what I'm saying, is where they're going in. When you make a mistake, you go to prison, you're going to lay on a bed that someone's tried to hump, yeah, someone's spunked on, someone's pissed on, and they've wiped it down, mate, and put it for the next person. The blankets, what you sitting like, come on, man. Like, that's where you're heading, if you want it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's there for you. So me personally, yeah, I tell people, don't get involved in it because it ain't worth it, yeah? And it ain't worth getting involved in something that you got to risk your liberty every single day of your life for a price you can't put your finger on. You got to stab, shoot and kill and go to prison forever. How does that make you sensible? How does that even put you in the ballpark of being sensible?
Real talk.
Yeah? I'll say it again. You risk your liberty every single day for a price you can't put your finger on. You're prepared to stab, shoot and kill and go to prison from one day to life. Does that make you sensible? And everyone, I don't risk my liberty every day. Okay, then you're not a criminal. But if you're shotting food, or you're doing bits, or you're hurting people, you're shooting people, you're stabbing people, you're going to prison. You're risking your liberty every single day. If you're out thieving every day, you're risking your liberty every day. If you're selling food, you're risking your liberty every day. If you're shooting people, you're risking your liberty every day. If you're thieving, credit carding, frauding, all that, you're risking your liberty every day. Otherwise you ain't eating, bro. So you got to risk your liberty every single day for a price you can't put your finger on, because you ain't a criminal out there that can tell me in April how much money they're going to have by December. It's impossible. Right? It's impossible. So what's the point? For what?
For what?
For what? Why are you going to get involved in something that you've got no control over? You've got no control of your outcome, you've got no control of your lifestyle, and you've got no control of your consequence. Why would you get involved in that? So don't get involved in crime. It's just not worth it. There's no reason, there's no purpose, and there's no meaning behind any of it, apart from greed and ego. So
greed and ego get you killed out here, man. Wow, Marv, that last part was like, what? I'm like sitting back like, yo, just give you the floor, man. You carry on. Do you know what I mean? But Marv, seriously, really, really appreciate you for coming down and coming on the show.
My little brummy cousins, lad.
Come on. So that's me, yeah? Nathaniel J's Walk Around the Shoot podcast. We have the great Marvin Herbert on the show. It's amazing. It's a pleasure. Appreciate it. And we're out.
We're out. Thank you very much for having me on. Let's hope this word gets to enough youngsters in Birmingham to listen.
100%.
But I do get some feedback, and a few of the youngsters are listening. You know, people are paying attention. Their ears are pricking up. As long as they're listening, something's going to go in.
Yeah.
So if we change a small margin of these youngsters' mindsets, then it's the start to something good. And I did say within 5 years, I'm going to change the narrative, and I'm going to change the message in the music, and I'm going to change the face of music in British rap scene. So they're not going to be rapping about selling drugs within 5 years. Watch, within 5 years, you're going to be a mug selling drugs on the trapping scene. What? On the rapping team, Marvin.
That's what we need. That is what we need. Thank you.
I'm always chasing innovation.